Someone got into my account and pretended to be me. I got a text and it was from the bank and it said, "Did you make this charge?" It was like 37 cents, something, really strange. And I said no. And so then I got a text back that said that they were closing down my credit card and I would get new cards in the mail. But when I tried to log into my bank account, I couldn't. So I called my bank and she explained to me that my account had been taken over and that I was the victim of identity theft.
ATO basically stands for account takeover, unauthorized access to an account that belongs to another person. So it's a cybercriminal activity that implies identity theft. The reasons behind this kind of attacks are pretty simple: getting funds or getting data, such as user and password, a credit card, PII information, etc. There are 4 different scenarios in which this can happen. The first one is through social engineering. Probably you're already familiarized with things like phishing, farming, cross-pharming, smishing, vishing, and spear phishing. All of them, they are basically variables of the same kind of example, which is one fraudster use a site that seems pretty similar to the one that the victim is used to work with and is sent to them by a different method, through an email, an SMS, WhatsApp conversation, by phone call, or even in the phone call they can just request the user and password. It can be targeted through an email saying that this came in from somebody that you trust. That's the example number 1. The second will be when you are using an unsafe environment. For example, when you are in a computer in which you are not the owner or that has been already compromised. And those computers can have keyloggers, which implies that something can get access to all the keys that you are pressing in the keyboard. Another example inside unsafe environments could be phone grabbers, which implies a malware infection, and they just are going to automatically pick the fields in which you are going to fulfill the username and the password. Another kind of malware is called stealers, that are also specialized in getting a specific kind of data of the machines that has been infected. And also, for example, man in the middle, when you are in a network that is not trustworthy and you are sending data, for example, through a rogue IP in an unsecure Wi-Fi in an airport. That's another possibility in which somebody could have access to your data and potentially stolen your user and password or PII information or credit cards, etc. The third one will be credential tracking, which implies that somebody tried to authenticate based on brute force or dictionary attacks, trying to authenticate the online service. In this case, for example, it could be the online banking application by just testing a combination of users and password. The fourth one will be credential stuffing, that basically comes from a combination of the previous ones and then those are leaked on the internet. So, for example, purchases in the dark web, or some things are just published in Pastebin, on many other sites. If you are working in a banking institution, take into account that digital trust solutions are going to take advantage of all different kind of combination of techniques like device assessment, malware analysis, and behavioral biometrics to guarantee that the user is the owner of the account, or if he's infected with malware, and potentially afterwards that account is going to be compromised.